picture you can see that two boys are there. One is trying to push the box while another is trying to pull the box. So what is force? Any push or pull on an object is known as force. So mainly there are four types of forces: muscular force, gravitational force, magnetic force, and frictional force. But before explaining type of forces, I want to give some examples which are related with the force. Like if you are pushing a cricket ball with the bat, then your bat and legs are in contact. We push books to keep it in the bag and pull the box to take it out from the bag. It means we are applying force. So any kind of pushing or pulling is known as force. If we are trying to pull the door, sometimes we are pushing the door. So it means we are applying force. So any kind of pushing or pulling is known as force. Now next comes types of forces. So first comes muscular force. If we are applying the force with our muscles, then it is included in muscular force. Like the force that uses the power of muscles of our body is called muscular force. When we push or pull something and we apply force by using of parts of our body with the help of hands and feet, then it is known as muscular force. You carry your school bag on your shoulders. Why? Just because of muscular force. So, with the help of our muscles, we are applying muscular force. Now, next comes gravitational force. Gravitational force is also known as gravity. So, what is gravity? Gravity is a force that attracts all objects or masses to each other. And gravity is responsible for making Earth revolve around the sun and the moon around the Earth. If gravity will not be there, then we will float over the surface of the Earth only. Just because of the gravity, all the objects coming towards the Earth. Like if we are throwing a ball in the sky, if we are throwing a stone in the sky, then it will automatically come towards the Earth only. It will not remain in the sky, it will come down just because of the gravitational force. Now next comes magnetic force. So you know about the magnet. In magnet, two poles are there. One is North Pole and another is South Pole. So when magnet attracts iron objects towards it, then this force is known as magnetic force. So a magnet applies a force on things which are made of iron and mainly steel so that they can attract towards it. This is known as magnetic force. The magnet does not pull things made of other substances such as paper or plastic. It means paper or plastic things cannot be attracted by the magnet. So only the things which are made of iron or steel, they can be attracted by the magnet. So that force which is applied by the magnet is known as magnetic force. Now next comes frictional force. Friction means the force which stops the thing. So frictional force works when two objects are in contact. So we can say that if two objects are in contact, then a force works between them, then that force is known as frictional force. So rolling a ball on the ground, flowing of the ball is just because of the frictional force. Due to frictional force, all objects stops. Because frictional force works against the force, the ball will go further on a smooth surface and on a rough surface. This is because the force of friction is more on rough surface and it is less on smooth surfaces. So frictional force works more on rough surfaces while it works less on smooth surfaces. If the box is kept on a smooth surface, less force is required to remove it. And if the box is kept on a rough surface, greater force is required to move it. This is just because of the friction. So we have studied about the four kind of forces. First, muscular force. The force which is applied by the muscles is known as muscular force. Just because of the muscular force, we are able to carry heavy load on our shoulders. Gravitational force, the force which is applied by the earth so that all the objects comes towards the earth only is gravitational force. Like if you are throwing a ball or a stone in the sky, then it will come down on the earth just because of gravitational force. Magnetic force, the force which is applied by the magnet so that the iron and steel objects attracts towards it is known as magnetic force. And the last is frictional force. What is frictional force? The force which works between the two surfaces when they are in contact. If the objects will not be in contact, then the frictional force will not work. So, frictional force is more on rough surfaces and it is less on smooth surfaces. So one example already I have given. If the box is kept on a smooth surface, then you have to apply less force. And if the box is kept on a rough surface, then you have to apply greater force. Now, friction is having advantages as well as disadvantages also. So first I am going to explain about what are the advantages of friction. So if you are writing in your copy or in your notebook, why? Just because of frictional force. So friction help us to hold the pencil and write in the notebook. If the frictional force will not be there, you are not able to write anything in the notebook. Your teacher are holding the chalk and they are able to write on the board just because of frictional force. And if we are able to walk on the ground, just because of frictional force. So if the frictional force will not be there, we are not able to even hold anything. We are not able to walk. So we are able to walk just because of friction. Because between feet and the ground, frictional force is working. As I have already explained that friction works when two objects are in contact. So when feet and the ground are in contact, frictional force is working. Without friction, we will slip and fall. We cannot walk. Okay. Cars, second advantage of friction is cars and buses are able to run on roads just because of friction. It is because of the friction between the tires and the roads. Okay, so these are the advantages of friction, and friction is also having disadvantages. You have heard about the forest fires also. So sometimes forest fires occurs just because of friction. You know, when there is a deforestation, then uh, just because of the deforestation or drought, trees are not having leaves, so they become dry. So due to dryness, they come to the contact, and due to rubbing each other, they got fire because due to rubbing they got friction, and friction causes fire also. The soles of your shoes wear away after some time just because of friction. If we are wearing our shoes for so many times, then just because of friction it causes wear out of your shoes. Friction causes parts of the moving machine to wear out. That is why we have to give oil time to time, okay, so that they can become smooth. Friction wastes energy because it makes it difficult to things to move. So these are the disadvantages of friction. So friction